My face is not covering. Today's Wednesday, January 17th. We're going to give you a quick introduction on how your first speech is going to go, which is going to be our secret word speech. I'm going to put the little thing up there behind you. You can't really see my face at the moment, but don't worry about it. It's not all that pretty. I'm putting that up there behind me so you can see it first. The people in the room can see me, probably more important right now anyway. Alright, here is how our first speech is going to go. Every speech you do for me is going to involve you standing up here on a chair every time you give a speech. It does two things for us. One, it makes every speech after my class, 8th grade, high school, going into college, that much easier because you're not going to be standing up on a chair. So once you get through my class, all your other speeches become much, much more simple. Two, it helps distract you from the fact you're giving a speech because you're worried about falling down and dying. So by being 4 feet up in the air, standing on a chair, you're constantly worrying about like, oh my God, I'm going to fall and die. And so then if you're worried about dying, you're not worried about your speech and forgetting what's going on. So it helps distract you, and that distracting can make things a little bit easier. So your speech will be given standing up here on the chair when you go. What is your speech about for this first one? Just a story. You are going to tell us a 45-second story. I don't care what the story is about. It can be true, it can be false, it can be about you. You can retell the plot of a movie if you want to. That's absolutely fine with me. Or you can tell about something that happened to you, whether it was real or fake. If you have questions, you're probably going to write them down or scribble them because it'll be a while before I get to you. As an example, for your story, you could say once there was a little boy with a scar on his forehead and there was an angry man with no nose who kept trying to throw spells at him using a stick. And so you'd go through and tell us a story along those lines. Or you can tell a story about when you were younger, the fact that you hated dinosaurs and you'd always punch dinosaurs in the nose because they made you grumpy and you were known as Bobby the Dinosaur Puncher. Or whatever, you're just going to tell us whatever story you want to go with. And you're going to be up here for 45 seconds telling your story. My goal is for you to be up here on this chair staring at us for 45 seconds. Because for many of you, being on this chair for 45 seconds is going to be the biggest thing of all, and you not dying by the end of it is going to be a huge step for you. Some of you, your 45-second speech is going to be 3 seconds of you talking and 42 seconds of you just blinking at us. That's fine. You're going to get through those 45 seconds, get to the end of the blinking, and know that you did not die. Because I've never had a kid die during a speech yet. Maybe you'll be the first one. But if you do, then you won't have to worry about it because you'll be dead. See how it works out? It's like a win-win thing, so don't worry about it. For others of you, you're much better at talking and you're going to get to the 45 seconds like, I want to keep on going. You're out of luck. We just stopped your story. Even if you're in the middle of your story, you're getting through the whole, and then the dinosaur jumped out from behind the time. We're going to stop there. And that's as far as we get. We'll never know what happened with the dinosaur. So you're going to go through and just tell us your story while you're up there the entire time. That's the easy part. Oh, Mr. Brovicast, that was the impossible part. Nope. Here's what makes it challenging. Before you give your speech, I am going to give you a secret word that you have to use at some point in your speech. It'll be a word that's an easy, basic word that you've seen before, some noun, verb, adjective, something like that. Dinosaur, haircut, toilet, water. Some word that you have to say at some point during your speech. If you can give your speech and not have the kids in the audience figure out what your word is, you gain B points. If the kids in the audience can figure out what your word is, they gain B points. And you lose B points. So it is a contest between you speaking and them out there. Now, the worst that happens is you lose 3 B points. The best that happens is you gain 3 B points. So it's not like a 3-point swing one way or the other. It is much easier to gain B points in the audience than up here, but that's the way it's going to work out. With the word I give you, if you don't like the word, you can choose a new word for 2 points. But realize it's not going to be a better word, it's just going to be a different word. So it's not like I'm like, oh, I'm going to give you the special word, unicorn. No, I'm just going to give you another random word. If you don't like that word, you could probably spend another 2 points, but then at some point you're going to burn through all of your points and choices. So you're just going to stand up here and go through and give it your secret word.
So how do you...
You can add endings to your word. If I give you the word live, you can change it to alive, or living, or even living room, and that is fine. You just have to, at some point, use it in there. So or lived, any of those are fine with me. With your word, you can't try and cheat. You can't try and whisper your words so that we can't hear you. One day I was walking down the street, and I jumped on a giant No one knew what it was. They're like, what was that word? Oh, I said the word, into my pocket. It doesn't work. So if you don't say it loud, we're not going to be able to count it. The one area that kids most mess up is the next one, which is you cannot put your word into a list of things. Because I'll have kids who like, I was walking down the street and I saw a dinosaur, a car, a toilet, water, swimming, haircut, fish, dog. Like, I listed 20 things. It was in there somewhere. It's not going to work. So if you put your word into a list, I'm going to stop you. Like, that was a list, and you're going to have to say your word again. If you don't say your word again, it's going to end up costing you points. Like the kid on his iPad right now is going to end up costing him points. We'd probably figure that out pretty quickly. Mr. Brovicast, you're so subtle. Skills, thank you. For your speech, here's what I'm having you work on. 1, not dying. 2, with your stance, because I'm not worrying about your actual speaking. I just want you to be able to get through it because it's not for a grade. You cannot be distracting with your hands. So you cannot put hands in pockets during a speech. So every time you put your hands into your pockets, I'm going to tell you, pockets! And your hands are thick enough in your pockets. Also, some of you are fiddlers, and you like to grab your hair and like, fiddle, 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 fiddle. Or you have a hoodie on and you're like, fiddle string, fiddle string, fiddle string. And those things happen, I'm going to be like, stop fiddling! It doesn't mean like, it just means stop playing with whatever you're playing with. The other thing will be, you can't rock or sway or wiggle. If you're like back and forth, some of you guys, when you get nervous, you start going back and forth. You're like, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. 1 is distracting. 2 is dangerous. You're 4 feet in the air. If you start rocking back and forth, rocky, rocky, rock, and you're not wearing a helmet, parts of you are going to come flying off. Oh yeah, have you ever had a kid fall? Yeah, I have had stupid kids before. Come on now. Have you ever had a kid get seriously hurt? No. They usually fall like, oh my God, I could have died. I'm like, yeah, I was stupid. Yes, you were. Well, I'm learning from it. And so if you start going back and forth, and I yell, rocking at you, it doesn't mean like, rock on, your bad self. It means you're rocking, you'll have to stop. So you can't lift, speech for 30 seconds, stay on the chair. For your speech, you're going to be up here the entire time for the 45 seconds. When you get done, you don't get down. You have to stay up here. That piece of paper you have in front of you, that is how you're going to guess the person's word. You have to have pen, because pen prevents you from cheating. You're going to write down the person's name, and you're going to write down what you think their word is. Then, you have to show that paper to someone. So when they get done, like, write down your word, make sure you show it to someone. If you don't show it, and you don't write it down, you cannot get points for your guess. Even if you're the only one, you're like, I get 3 points. Did you write it down? No. Did you show it to anyone? No. Then you get no points. If not, it prevents the kids like, yeah, I have that word in my head. It doesn't count. So it has to be written down, and you have to show it, or you're out of luck. For the people in the audience, don't talk during speeches. It's easy for me to ignore you because I don't care about you. But you guys kind of care about each other sometimes. There's every chance that you are going to distract someone if you're talking during a speech. What'll make it tough is the person up here is nervous, and they're going to try and talk to you. Because they'll be like, muffins! Everyone loves muffins! You like muffins! You're like, it's getting kind of awkward. So just be like, but if you talk, I charge you points. So just be like, no talking to them, charge you points. And for the people in the audience, there's every chance that at some point you're going to get a word correct. Don't jump out of your seat and celebrate, because I know it might be the only time you've ever won something in your life. And you're like, I won 1 point. But as soon as your booty leaves your red chair, I charge you points. I'll keep that in mind. 1 goes up a point each time. 1 point the first time, and then 2 points, and 3 points. So hopefully we'll be good the first time. That's pretty much, oh, at the end we'll do the clap. 1, 2, 3, clap, clap, clap. Because once again, you didn't die. If you did die, we'll clap at your funeral. Like, it was a noble death.
We can't clap at your funeral.
I think if one of you dies, I will make sure we clap at your funeral, and your parents will understand because I'm recording. It's okay. I'll play them the video like, I missed him. Bobby was such a good kid. He would have wanted you to clap.
You end up like Logan Paul.
In a moment, hilarious. In a moment, we'll take volunteers. If you want to volunteer, it goes off B points. The more B points you have, the faster you get bumped up. When we run out of volunteers, that's where the fun begins. Because whoever the last volunteer was gets to pick the next person to go. And they get to keep picking people until someone volunteers. So, if Hannah is my last person to volunteer, she picks the next person to go after her. If no one volunteers after that, Hannah gets to pick again, and then pick again, until eventually someone volunteers. Once you volunteer, you become the new picker. And so that's the joy of volunteering. Also, if you don't do the homework tomorrow, you get bumped to the front of the volunteer line. So then if no one, we have run out of volunteers tomorrow, I'm like, well, 5 kids didn't do the homework. Hannah, you get to pick one of those 5 kids. Who do you hate the most? She's like, I hate all of them. I'm like, oh, me too. And so if you don't do the homework, you get bumped to the front of the volunteer line. So keep that in mind. Questions now.
Will you yell at us when you turn?
There'll be, good question. My apologies. 1, here's the screen that'll show you how it's going to work. If no one guesses your word, you get 3 points. If a single person guesses your word, you don't lose points, they gain points. So if I give a speech and Marissa guesses my word, I don't lose anything. She gains 3 points and nothing happens to me. If 2 people guess it, you get 2 points. If 4 to 6 people can guess your word, they each get 1 point. If 7, 8, or 9 people guess your word, nobody gains points. I don't lose points, you don't gain points, nothing happens. If more than 10 people guess your word, you start losing points. 10 to 13, 1 point, 14, 15, 16, 2 points, 17 plus 3 points. Basically, that's the only way to have that happen is when you give the speech, when you just go, there was a dog in a house. I like that dog. We're like, pretty sure the word's dog. And we all write it down, that's how we're going to happen. Otherwise, I've had kids lose points, but usually don't. The only other way to do that is if you don't say your word. If you don't say your word at all, you lose the maximum points. And I do have kids who freak out and like, I didn't say my word at all. Congratulations, you've lost 3 points. When you give your speech, here's what it's going to look like. There'll be a timer going behind you the entire time. You're more than welcome to turn around to look at the timer if you want to. You can just turn around. You just can't talk while you're looking at the timer. So if you turn around and go that way, you can't keep giving your speech. So you can't say your word while looking that way or anything like that. But you're welcome to turn around. Also, this screen. People will talk in between speeches. I'm okay with that. Especially these speeches, they inspire a lot of talking because kids actually like, speeches weren't awful. I kind of smiled and enjoyed it. So you're going to end up talking between them. I'm fine with you talking between speeches until this screen pops up. Once that screen comes up and someone is in this chair, I charge you points if you talk. That screen, I don't care if you talk. This screen and no one in the chair, I don't care if you talk. But once that screen is up and someone stands on the chair, that means I'm ready to begin speeches, and I just start charging you points. We'll start going through like that. Amarian.
How do you know if you got the answer right?
The correct word?
Yeah.
At the end of it, when the person gets done with their speech, we'll have you write it down and show it to people. And then after like 15 seconds, I was like, all right, everyone showed people their word. We'll clap, go clap, clap, clap. And I'll say, speaker, what was your word? They're like, dinosaur. And then as long as you have it written down and showed someone, I'll say, who had dinosaur? You're like, that was me, yo. And that's how you get your point.
So you write the person's name down, and then you write their word. Okay.
Yep. At some point. Just do not show your word while they're giving a speech. It's distracting. If they're still talking, you're like, look at my word! Look at my word! And it gets distracting, and they have enough issues once again. Because right now we're thinking about, I'm going to be the kid that passes out. I'm going to be the first one to do it. This never happens. You'll make it through. Rylan.
Yeah, but you don't want for people. Wait, you don't want people you don't want to show people your word.
Correct.
Because then they'll get the V point.
Correct.
Everybody has
Everyone has a different word, and you're the only one that knows your word.
No, but if someone says
Yes.
somebody's standing up, and he said show people your word when you write it down. So if I show it, Hillary my word.
I don't know why.
And then, well, because you don't show it to someone that's also written down. You're going to learn some kids are cheaters and they won't write a word down until you show it to them. You stop showing that person your word. Some people are just horrible cheaters.